Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida is in the UK now as part of his Group of Seven tour. He is expected to meet his British counterpart Rishi Sunak today. Both leaders are expected to sign a major defence deal, which London says is the most significant agreement of its kind in more than a century. It will allow UK troops to be deployed in Japan. This agreement is the latest sign of London's growing interest in the Asia-Pacific region and also Tokyo's efforts to strengthen its alliances. And for more on the story, we're joined by our correspondent Michio Ishida, who is standing by in Tokyo, and Ollie Barrett in London. Michio, let's get to you first. With Japan seeking to boost its defence strategy with the UK, apart from this deal, what does Prime Minister Kishida hope to achieve on this trip to London?
Well, Japan and the UK have a deepening security ties over the years. Some political watchers here say that it reminds them of the time the two countries were actually allies. That's 100 years ago. For example, Japan concluded the acquisition and cross-servicing agreement in 2016. It's the third with the country. The first one was with the US. The second one with its quasi-ally, Australia. It's to supply goods and water to British soldiers during the peacekeeping operation. And since 2015, they held 2+2 talks of defense and foreign ministers. It's since the time Mr. Kishida was foreign minister. In 2021, U.S. aircraft carriers HMS Queen Elizabeth and Japan's destroyer vessel held drills in Okinawa. In December, they agreed on a joint development of a next-generation aircraft with Italy. In January, British soldiers for the first time took part in a parachute drop event in Chiba in Japan. So all these events have been taking place, and for Japan, deepening ties with a country with which is an important ally for the United States is very crucial. It's on the back of what Japan calls the most severe and a complex situation in the region since World War II. There's the assertive China, North Korea, and a concern about Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And Japan has just recently adopted 3 security documents, so it's crucial that Mr. Kishida explains these documents to G7 member countries and also upgrade security ties with various countries.
Oh, thanks for that, Michio. Of course, part of the upgrading is this defence agreement between Japan and the UK. Ollie Barrett joins us live from London. Ollie, Mr. Sunak and Mr. Kishida will sign what has been described as the most significant defence agreement in a century. Apart from what we do know is that it cuts the red tape and allows mutual access for the two militaries. Any more details about this deal at this point?
Yeah, that reciprocal access principle is absolutely key to this agreement, which Downing Street tells us has been years in negotiation. And as you say, it's really being trumpeted by the UK as the most significant military agreement between the two countries in a century. But the UK is also trumpeting the fact that it is becoming the first European country to have an agreement like this with Japan. It will allow both countries to deploy forces in each other's countries, and both countries say that will allow them both to plan and carry out larger and more complex military operations. It does represent part of the UK's so-called Indo-Pacific tilt, part of the UK refocusing some of its attentions when it comes to defence and security on the Asia-Pacific region as well. But that's not all that the two men will discuss here later today. We expect them to discuss Ukraine, matters related to the economy as well, other defence and trade ties too. The reason that all of this is happening here at the Tower of London behind me is that the two men will also visit some military armour presented by Japan to the UK in 1613. What the UK is trying to do to reference that first trade deal between the two countries is show that this is a new phase in a relationship going back centuries.
All right, thanks for that. Ollie Barrett reporting live to us there from London, and before Michio Ishida live in Tokyo.